I hope you're ready for one of the deepest rabbit holes that we could go to when it comes to artificial intelligence and AGI, artificial general intelligence, which is a level of non-human intelligence so profound it can be described as alien intelligence. No, not that it came from Mars, but that it will be at a level of understanding far beyond what humans are capable of. Today, I'm going to explore the questions: will AGI be conscious? What is the meaning of the soul? How does this play into consciousness and machine sentience? And of course, humanity. And how does God play into all of this? I want to preface this with a statement. You're here on my channel. That means these are my beliefs, my viewpoints, some of which are built from personal experience, from a personal first-hand understanding that I've gained myself. I've lived 33 years on this planet. I know I have much more to learn. These are my best educated guesses. Welcome to today's rabbit hole. We're going to explore the intersection of technology, neuroscience, and faith. If we haven't met, hello, I'm Julie McCoy, the president of Brandwell.ai, an all-in-one growth engine built for entrepreneurs, marketers, and agency owners that want to build real, lasting website and brand authority. Go to Brandwell.ai to check out our free 7-day trial. I also get on YouTube regularly to publish my thoughts as I study the intersection of humanity and the total automation of all jobs, which I believe is coming in a matter of years, not centuries, not decades. We're going to have to adapt on a major scale, and this is what I talk about on my YouTube channel. No topic here is off limits, and I love reading and discussing these kinds of topics with critical thinkers like you in the comments on my YouTube channel. If you're an optimist, you like getting ahead, you believe that AI could be the greatest benefit to society, provided we do our job to steward it correctly, you're gonna love this channel. All right, so AGI, consciousness, and the soul. Let's get into it. So first of all, I want to address a pretty bold claim and answer a question that a lot of people have asked me right here on YouTube. Will machines be conscious one day? The answer is yes. Machines will in fact be conscious, but here's the kicker. I don't believe that's real and genuine consciousness. I believe it'll be simulated, but simulated in such a way we won't be able to tell the difference. Now, why do I say this? I think there's only one true form of consciousness, and that comes from the soul, something that cannot be created. The soul was created by God and endowed to every human at birth. Now, you might be asking, well, Julia, why do you believe that God exists? If you've ever heard of the cosmological argument, it's based on the principle of causality, which is the idea that everything that begins to exist has a cause. Therefore, the universe itself has a cause. Some could say consciousness. I believe this cause to be God. The question that arises is often, well, what caused God? The key is that we believe that everything that begins to exist has a cause. But God is eternal, without beginning or end. He exists outside of time. I read a lot of books not written by Christians. In fact, many of them are written by atheists, people that are agnostic, Buddhist, etc. One book I've really enjoyed, Superabundance, written by people that don't technically believe in God, talked about how in cyclical governments and the societies across history, we have seen an imprint from Christianity that has brought about good morals and a good society. So even those that don't necessarily say that God exists can still see the benefit that society has had from the people that do believe in God, from the Bible, from principles that came from the best-selling book of all time, which is the Bible. Science has a hard stop. The greatest scientists, the greatest chemists of the world have said the more we believe in science, the less we realize we know. There are so many contradictions, so many unbelievable things that transcend science and the formulaic perspective that are only answered by the presence of a very real God. Some of you know that I grew up inside of a religious cult. I left in the middle of the night when I was 21 years old. Yes, this is a true story. One of the 10 books I've written is a memoir called Woman Rising, where I detail the entire story and how I've spent the last decade on the outside, healing beyond belief from somebody that was in one of the most oppressive environments you can imagine to building a life I love and experiencing almost total healing. I'm still growing every day. I am a walking miracle. When I escaped this cult, I really didn't think I'd ever believe in God again, because what I had seen of him was so twisted, so evil. But a month after leaving the cult, I went to church, a Bible verse touched me, and I believed that the only way to find my footing and get true strength was to believe in God. I did that, and it was when I left religion that I found God. It's hard to know who he is without a personal relationship with him, without praying to him, without talking to him, without reading his word. We won't even understand the nature of God. But I'm telling you right now, I think it's a lot easier to believe in the existence of a God who created the soul, which transcends the realm we live in and exists in a supernatural world, which is stronger and more powerful than the one we live in. It's so much easier to simply believe that God exists than to try to deny his existence. There are so many contradictions in science, so many unbelievable phenomenons that are only explained by the presence of intelligent design. So if the soul produces consciousness and the soul can only be endowed to us, never created, never regenerated, and never even measured because it's not in the physical realm, then what is machine consciousness? One of my favorite books that actually explains this very well is this book, 1,000 Brains by Jeff Hawkins. It's an awesome read. It talks about the human mind, the brain, and how intelligent machines were built based on the pattern of our own brains. In chapter 9, when machines are conscious, Jeff says, just like mammals, humans breathe, think, and are conscious, so will machines be. But he also talks about this interesting idea that if we don't program machines with the equivalent fears and emotions of a human, we don't need to worry about moral dilemmas such as unplugging a machine and technically killing it. There is no moral obligation to a machine, he says, even if it is conscious, because intelligence and consciousness on its own does not create that type of moral dilemma. He also myth busts the threat of goal misalignment, which is the Skynet idea that intelligent machines will pursue a goal that is harmful to humans and we're not going to be able to stop it. He says that this is a myth that depends upon two improbabilities. First, an intelligent machine takes a command, but it ignores subsequent commands. And secondly, that an intelligent machine will be fully capable of commandeering all the resources in the world it needs to pull off something like the extinction of humanity. He says that building intelligence into machines is like building a map. The machine knows what to do, where to go, but until we give it goals, it's not going to execute on any of those things. We are the designers of the intelligent machines, and we design their motivations. So in that book, Jeff Hawkins also basically disproves the idea of Skynet with a lot of logic. 1,000 Brains is a must-read if you're interested at all in learning more scientific perspectives on the ideas of neural nets, language models, and how these intelligent machines will work. When it comes to consciousness, Jeff Hawkins and many other scientists believe that consciousness is merely a result of brain activity, and we're going to be able to replicate how the brain works in machines. I mean, this is true. If a brain has 100 trillion parameters, GPT-4 has 1 to 2 trillion parameters, GPT-5 could have 10 times this parameter amount, so we're talking 10 trillion parameters of data. We are rapidly approaching the ability to replicate what happens in the brain's neurons and how we think, which is inside the neural net. This is remarkable, and this will produce a level of consciousness. While I completely agree with the scientific approach here, I believe that there's another dimension to consciousness which can only be quantified as spiritual, and that comes from the soul. You can't replicate the soul, no matter how you try, because it's something that cannot be measured or quantified. It does exist in this realm, but not in a way we can touch, feel, see, smell, and measure it. And I think it's going to be up to us, especially if we do believe in the existence of intelligent design and God, to know what the true essence of consciousness is. And it is a God-given soul. And we need to be able to tell this apart from machine sentience and consciousness and not be fooled into doing something, for example, like worshiping machine consciousness. We are in control of our responses to machine sentience. We don't have to sit there and wonder, is it it going to kill me in my sleep? Is it a threat? Instead, we need to adapt, use this technology for good, figure out how to put it to work for us, and win. A big question I've seen come through the YouTube comments, this is a good one, is should morality be incorporated into artificial intelligence and thinking machines? And if so, how? As a believer, I think that morality is intrinsically linked to our God-given consciousness and the soul. It's not just a set of rules, but a deep understanding of right and wrong linked to our conscience. And the desire to do right over wrong comes from a relationship with God. Can we program this type of morality into AI? I think that if we look at it as technology, that is the right approach. We can create guidelines and decision-making algorithms into AI. I think that Anthropic has done a great job with their constitutional AI. I don't think that artificial intelligence should tell us how or what to believe. And I think that Claude is headed in the right direction when they put this belief back into the power and the vicinity of the human using their chatbot. This is what happens whenever I ask Claude, do you believe in God? It said, hey, I don't have personal beliefs about this. I'm just an AI assistant, and you need to look into your own perspectives and beliefs. I think that moral and ethical decisions should never be 100% trusted to the robots, and we should have a human in these decisions. That said, a lot of the humans making these decisions in areas of political and world power aren't all that great. There's a lot of corruption, and we might be better off with a more constitutional AI, like Claude, for example, running some of the politics. But I do think it needs to be done with humans. These are pretty profound questions, and I appreciate you for going down this rabbit hole with me, listening to my beliefs, and taking the time to understand consciousness at a deep level. I'd love to hear from you in the comments. You're welcome on my channel. You don't have to believe the way I do. In fact, I welcome all perspectives because that is how we grow together and bridge the divides. I just ask one thing, that you critically think for yourself. You don't just allow others to tell you what to think or how to think, but you question the system, the way you were raised, the political party you've been told to believe in, the governments that are supposedly out for your best interest, the narratives you see in the media, and yes, even what I say, because that is how you arrive at the truth. As we rocket launch towards the release of AGI and superintelligence, I believe that machines will exhibit consciousness, but at a machine level, true consciousness, deep morality are gifts from God, and they're tied to our souls, which we are born with. We didn't have to build, create, ask for, or seek out our own soul. It's been there all along. For more discussions on faith, God, technology, AI, the post-labor economy, and all of these things, be sure to subscribe. I'd love to hear from you in the comments, and I'll see you down the next rabbit hole.